ओडिशा सरकार एवं स्टेट लेवल बैंकर्स कमिटी ओडिशा को आनुकूल्य रे आज जो मुद्रा प्रमोशन कैंपेन जनता मैदान रोचे तार मुख्य आकर्षण यूनियन मिनिस्टर फॉर पेट्रोलियम नेचुरल गैस एवं नुआकेरी एडिशनल दायित्व दिखाई बड़ गुरुत्वपूर्ण दायित्व स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप श्रीमान धर्मेंद्र प्रधान महोदय आपन को मोर गभीर नमस्कार। श्री शशिभूषण बेहरा आमर राज्यर ऑनरेबल फाइनेंस एंड एक्साइज मिनिस्टर, श्री पांडे प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी फाइनेंस यूको बैंक एवं अन्य बैंक जंत्री मैंने जो मैंने ये अच्छा समस्त को मुझे स्वागत करुच्ची विपुल संख्यार आसवा ये मुद्रा कैंपेन बेनिफिशियरी हमार जो मैंने बोधे आशावान समस्त को ये स्वागत करुच्ची। बंधुगण दुई तीन इश्यू मु फ्लैग करने को चाहूँगी जेहेतु बाहर बैंकर्स मैंने आसछंती तेणु जदि आप परमिशन हम दुई पद इंग्रेजी में कहले से बुझीपारे ना से बुझीपारे कहीं इश्यूज फ्लैग करने हम। बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई मस्ट टेक दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू convey my heartfelt congratulations to Dharmendra Babu that he has been given this very important charge of skill development and entrepreneurship by the Honorable Prime Minister. Dharmendra Babu's worst critics will also concede one fact that he is, and he has very few critics in fairness, but his worst critics will concede that he is exceptionally hardworking and very competent. But he has one other quality which is even more important. Emperor Napoleon was once asked, what do you look for in your generals when you hire your generals? He said, give me a lucky general any day. I don't believe in the last 40 years there has been a luckier petroleum minister than Dharmendra Babu. He has ensured inexplicably, I don't know how, that international crude prices, which were reigning at $140 to $150 a barrel in 2014 when he took over, have thereafter languished at about $30 to $40 a barrel, even came down as low as $20 a barrel. So his contribution in terms of his luck that he has brought to the petroleum ministry has contributed massively to this government remaining afloat financially and having the cushion to bring many of these projects like MUDRA, etc. to the people's doorsteps. And I believe that while he has been very lucky in petroleum, the ministry by and large runs on its own steam. It has an energy of its own. So apart from overarching stewardship, he doesn't have to do too much there, I believe. But now in skill development, his real talent will have to come forward, because this is a very challenging assignment. I think we are going through very challenging times. The fact that the Prime Minister has had to draft him in shows that he is very concerned about the present state of both self-employment as well as employment generation, and therefore he has given this very important ministry to Dharmendra Babu. I wish him all the best. It goes without saying. Now, there have been many critics about the MUDRA scheme. I join my Chief Minister in not being one of the critics, because my Chief Minister has always said that if there are good forward-looking schemes brought by the central government, we will always stand hand in hand to support the central government in the spirit of cooperative federalism. And I think Dharmendra Babu will be the first to concede that on many issues of legislation, we have supported the government when we have seen that, for instance in GST, when we have seen that this is in the interest of the country. MUDRA, people say, is really a rehash of many older schemes which have been there since the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. It's only under a new name. Be that as it may, it's a very important scheme, I believe, but it should flag 2 or 3 very important issues. As chairman of the Standing Committee of Urban Development and Housing and Poverty Alleviation, and I think this MUDRA would somehow come under poverty alleviation as well, so we have gone around the country in our committee tours and we have found many complaints that the banks have not been up to the task of the last mile connectivity, the last mile outreach at the smallest level possible. The big cities, the medium cities, of course, the bankers are also more enlightened, the people are more enlightened, but in the outreach of the rural areas, this has so far not really percolated down, and largely it is because I think the banks have to sensitize their block level, panchayat level units to sensitize their staff there, the field staff there, about these schemes and how to reach out to the people. So that's one of the criticisms, I must tell you, which I have always seen in every city that we've gone to, in every state that we've gone to. We have found this criticism coming forward, both from the state governments as well as from public participants. That's one. Number 2, in many of the old schemes, there were, for instance, in the Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, the PMEGP, there was a 15 to 35% subsidy component for many of these categories. That subsidy component has now been taken away completely under MUDRA. I believe that's a great incentive sometimes when the government comes and says, I am going to be a partner in your progress and I am going to subsidize you to the extent of 15, 20, 25%. So maybe Dharmendra Babu may consider speaking with the relevant functionaries in government that whether the old scheme, where many of the old schemes by which there was some government subsidy, if those could be incorporated as part of these ongoing MUDRA schemes. The third and most important issue that I want to flag is the interest rate. 10 to 12% interest rate, and it has gone in some cases as high as 17%. And where the repayment schedule is within 6 months, I believe is very onerous. I don't believe any startup business, stand-up business, skill business, whatever you want to call it, whatever nomenclature you want to use, will be able to service a 10 to 12 to 14% interest rate within such a short span of time. Therefore, that is the other issue that Dharmendra Babu may have to flag with the government, that these interest rates have to be recalibrated, the interest rates must come down if the people are actually going to be benefited. Because from the numbers that I have here, I see that 60% of the loans are below the 50,000 category, which is the Shishu category. Now, that doesn't augur well, because that means there is only a very small amount of self-employment which is being generated. But in order for more employment to be generated, you have to go to the 5 lakh, the above 5 lakh category. And for that, I believe the interest quotient is going to be a critical component. Therefore, I request Dharmendra Babu to look into this aspect of the matter. I won't take too much more of your time. I'm very glad that this Mela is being held here, that this scheme is being propagated in large measure here. The state government has been a very active partner at all times. We've got a very robust, the small scale sectors in Orissa, the self-help groups in Orissa have been a very, very robust mode of distribution or redistribution of wealth. So therefore, I have no doubt that the state government will go arm in arm with the central government as well as the bankers in promoting this. I wish you all the very best. बहुत धन्यवाद आपने आज आसले एवं ये समय देले मते 2 मिनिट एटी सुयोग देले आउ थरे आपन धन्यवाद जणे मोर उद्बोधन शेष करछि बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बंद कॉलेज में जय जगन्नाथ
Thank you so much.